Hey folks, it's Chris Dyer here at Reborn Martial Arts in Springfield, Virginia, and today we're coming at you with part 3 from the Art and Practice of Boxing from 1825 by an anonymous source. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so from where we left off last time, we come to the next section, and first we get some of the longest run-on sentences I think I've ever seen in my life, and all that this section does is take all of Mendoza's work and puts it basically into a paragraph of just run-on sentences. So I'm not going to trouble you with all of that, going through each and every piece. Just go look back at our Mendoza videos, and it basically is just a summary of all of that information. But the next thing that we get to look at is the cross buttock, and we're going to do this from a different position than what we've seen in our previous videos. So I'm going to get Mike out here and we're going to take a look at that technique, some different positions to get there, and then we'll go through some of the other really interesting things about this. Okay, so in some of our previous videos we've talked about this particular technique. It seems to be extremely common in the boxing rink of the age. The thing that's unique about this is the image, and we'll post it up here. For this one, it clearly shows doing this technique from a different position, different direction than what we've seen before. So the cross buttock that we've looked at before, specifically Mike's right side is forward, my right side is forward, and somehow we've ended up in this position. From here, we go over the hip, I grab onto the arm, we step in, and we launch Mike from this position. So we're half hipping him or throwing him up over this hip. In this particular imagery, we are same thing, we're hip to hip, only this direction we're coming in from behind through here, and we're taking the hip out this direction. So exact same cross buttock, so I'm going hip to hip, and we're driving through with their hips, but we end up on the, basically from behind direction when we're doing this. So we're here, I might be striking in this position, I step into position, so around Mike's foot, we get half to hip, and then we lift, and then we throw down. Good? So that's the cross buttock in this section. Let's take a look at the next part where we're going to be covering chopper from different positions too. Okay, so next in the manual is the chopper, his look at the chopper. He does go into explanation that this is Daniel Mendoza's favorite strike and should be used in every case, basically. Whenever you get the chance, use the chopper. So it's actually interesting, going back to the first time we started looking at this manual, he gave Daniel Mendoza's guard very little like description, introduction. There wasn't a whole lot to it. He didn't say, you know, its advantages, disadvantages. He said, here's Daniel Mendoza's guard, and then we focused on all of Daniel Mendoza's lessons, his chopper, his thing. Like, it was a bit very Daniel Mendoza centric manual so far, but he didn't give it much credit at the beginning, so it was really interesting. So the chopper. So as we've seen before, the chopper is anytime where I'm taking the flat part of the hand, these two knuckles, so your first and second knuckle, and you're going to be driving them in a downwards fashion towards your opponent's face. The goal is either bridge the nose, open up the eye, so striking in here, causing, you know, bleeding and all this other fun stuff. And again, without any sort of gloves on, you're more likely to cause openings, so opening gaps and whatnot in the cheek and the eye. So this is what we're going for when we're doing these position. He does describe the fact that this of all strikes is the hardest one for an untrained person to perceive. You can see this strike coming. A trained person can easily see this linear strike coming. It's much harder to perceive this strike, what direction it's coming from, how it's coming, the angle of attack when it's happening. And so he does describe the chopper. He says that one of the best times to do it is in the image is shown here with the elbow is up, saying that anytime the elbow is up is a great time because it rolls from this position. We want to have our body drop down into it, but the elbow, if it gets elevated, comes down here. So one of the best ways, if you want to put this into modern practice, if my hands are here or whatever, or I have Mendoza's guard, and Mike sneaks one underneath, I drop this hand down to parry it, and my hand is right here ready for my chopper in return. I can even go a little bit higher if my guard, to the face. If my guard is here, I parry this down and then can return straight in with this chopper from this position. So mid-block even, so he punches in and block this direction, can come back over the top with my chopper from here, and then do like right across this way. Here, I can block in this direction. It's going to be harder to roll through. It doesn't flow as smooth from that position. What I would do through that same strike from here would be rotate that hand over in more like a corkscrew fashion. So any of these sort of downward through here, coming in inwards position like this is a perfect opportunity to do that rolling strike. If for whatever reason, maybe he throws a right punch and I block it across this direction, perfect opportunity for chopper. We trap it through here and then come in and then smash down on top. All right, so that's the chopper. In the next section, we're going to start looking at some really fascinating stuff about training during the age. Okay, so in the next section, and if I had to point out one thing that really stands out in this manual, it's how haphazard this thing is put together. All the other manuals that we've looked at so far has been very clear, outlined. This person, their mode of thinking reminds me a lot of myself, just kind of all over the place. We have this section here, we're talking about cross buttock. This section here, we're talking about chopper. This section, we're talking about diet. It's all over the place. So it can be really confusing at times to follow along, but we're doing our best here. All right, so this section is about training habits. And I found that the first part of this was hysterical looking at it at first, because he says that the training habits that we have now, the training methods that we have now, and we're talking 1825, are the greatest that have existed since the history of the world, that we really know the science of fitness. And then he goes on to describe some of these things. And I gotta give him credit for the time. It's not bad. So a couple of the things that really stood out to me, be balanced in all things. Okay, I got nothing wrong with this. This is pretty good, be balanced in all things. Go to bed early, so you're getting about 8 or 9 hours of sleep. So going to bed at 10 o'clock, he says get up 6 or 7 o'clock. Massage, okay, nothing too bad here. Throwing the dumbbells around. This is the phrase that he uses, so use some weights. Later on, we're going to get into some of the training methods, and we're actually working out with weights as means of practicing our punches. So nothing wrong with that. A walk or ride in nature. Okay, we're doing great so far, so I got to give him credit, doing pretty well. Spar before dinner, and then dinner should be something like a chicken, something that's easy to digest, high in protein. We're doing great. You want to take a cool bath both morning and evening every day, 3 weeks before and after, or 3 weeks going up to a match. So we're doing our early version of ice bathing. You want to be cool down the muscles so that they're healing better. Then finally we get to some of the stuff the day before a match and the day of a match. How anybody in this day and age managed to get into the ring alone, let alone find the center of a ring. We're talking a pint of wine in the morning mixed with brandy. You've had a slice of bread, was the recommended breakfast. So far you're going into a ring with a slice of bread and a pint of wine mixed with brandy. In your corner on the ring, you have a bottle with watered down brandy mixed with orange liquor. That's what you're sipping on through this match. So they might have had some things right, but the amount of booze that are going through the poor boxer's system when they're in the ring was unbelievable. So maybe not the greatest dietary habits for the boxing. We definitely wouldn't do that nowadays, but maybe it worked for them at the time. I don't know. It dulled some of the pain. Anyway, so I think that was a really, really interesting way of looking at this section. Like some of the stuff, yeah, cool. As someone who's big into health and fitness, I think it was great. Some of the things probably not the best idea if you're going to be in a competitive match, but you know, got to give it to them for the time. Anyway, I think that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be looking at some of the, like I said, some of the actual like training methods in our next video. Some really, really cool things. Some big historical firsts in this manual are coming up. So stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. This video series is doing great, so I'm loving the fact that you guys are enjoying it. Be sure to tell all your friends about it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.